So Leroy, you're charged with two cases. You're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're also charged with reckless driving. On the DWI, you're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. On your other case, you're facing up to 30 days in jail and or a $500.
Right out of the gate, this is serious. A DWI paired with reckless driving isn't just about fines or jail. Judges see this combo as a cocktail for disaster, endangering not just the driver, but everyone on the road. What would you think if someone flew past you at 105 in a construction zone?
Fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
105 miles per hour in a two-lane construction zone. That's not just reckless, that's flirting with a death wish. Judges hear construction zone and immediately think workers at risk, zero tolerance.
Sure.
On November 3rd, 2024, officers observed defendant's motor vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed, 105 miles per hour, making unsafe lane changes, cutting off several other vehicles, and driving through narrow two-lane construction zones and on the Sam Houston Tollway. The officer was able to catch up with the...
Notice how the judge double checks. Are you telling me he was going that fast in a construction zone? That's the moment the judge's patience starts thinning. The law calls this probable cause, but you can feel that the judge is already leaning heavy against Leroy.
The defendant and initiated a traffic stop. Officer made contact with the driver and observed mild odor of alcoholic beverage, red bloodshot eyes, and a slight sweat. Officer observed a brown bottle of alcoholic beverage under the passenger seat, open and half empty. SFST is administered, HGN 4 out of 6, walk and turn 4 out of 8, one leg stand 3 out of 4. Defendant denied drinking anything, then claimed to have only consumed one beer. And DICs were read and breath was refused. Blood search warrant was obtained and executed.
Are you telling me that he's going through a construction zone at 105 miles an hour?
That's what I have here, Judge, per the dams.
Any prior DWIs? Mind checking? Or any kind of other reckless driving?
I don't see any other...
Classic judge moment. He's basically saying, no excuses, even if you're chauffeuring a saint. If you drive again, boom, jail. This is the kind of colorful warning judges throw in to make sure it sticks in a defendant's head. And for the audience, gold.
Anything that has to do with driving on his record.
There's a lot of construction on the toll road. If you're going that fast, probably pass through it, rather
You're
quickly.
supposed to slow down at an extreme slow place when you're
I agree.
extremely slow pace when you're going through a construction zone.
I agree.
Mr. Leroy, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case, and I'm now taking away your privilege to drive. You're not allowed to drive at all. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You will be signing an affidavit with me, and I hope you take it seriously, because if not, you will be facing 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. And I don't care what your excuse is. Mother Teresa needs a ride to church. You come down, we will have a hearing, and you're facing 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any kind of dope, likewise, you will go to jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
These are two different affidavits that you're going to be signing. So if I find that you drive, and I don't care what it's for, I will have 2 contempt hearings every time you drive. You have a lawyer. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with Mr. Agle, and he will tell you when you have to come back to court. If he comes back to me and tells me he can't get a hold of you,
Ouch, that's a brutal reality check. The judge isn't just punishing here, he's pushing life advice. But let's be real, how many defendants actually take this to heart? What do you think, tough love or wasted words?
You pick up a new case. You violate conditions, I will put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we'll have you go.
Thanks.
All right, you are Eric Matthew Mack.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mack, you're charged with criminal trespass. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You're also charged with interference to the duties of a public servant. On both of those, you're facing up to 6 months in jail. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
On October 30th, 2024, officers were patrolling an apartment complex in Harris County, Texas, that is known to have a high amount of crime. Officers are familiar with the property manager who has complained about trespassers in the past. There were multiple no trespassing, no loitering signs throughout the apartment complex. Officer observed the defendant walking around the apartment complex wearing a hoodie with the hood up and a mask covering his whole face and holding an unknown object in his pocket. Officer asked if the defendant lived in the complex, and the defendant did not answer. Officers believe that crime was afoot as defendant refused to remove his hands from his pocket. Officers attempted to Terry frisk the defendant for any weapons. The defendant refused to be patted down for weapons. Officers attempted to detain him for a criminal trespass investigation, but he refused to be placed in handcuffs. He resisted to be placed in handcuffs, and it took 4 minutes. It took 4 deputies to detain him as he kept pulling away and moving his hands away from each other. It was determined that the defendant did not reside at the apartment complex.
Mr. Mack, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. How old are you, sir? What do you do for a living? Why not? Sorry?
Retiring.
I can't hear you.
Retiring.
There are so many people that are hiring, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Did you graduate from high school?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what's the next move in your life? You're 21, you ain't got no job. What are you doing with your life?
Military.
That would be a great idea. Holy moly, that would be awesome. Really. That will give you structure, it'll give you discipline, and it'll get you a job. That would be a fantastic thing to do. But jobless, no prospects, no future at 21, that's not going to bode well for you. So I'll appoint your lawyer today, but it's one of the 2 things. Great idea if you want to go to the military. If not, you must get a job, and I'm making that a condition of your bond. Do you understand?
Sir.
You cannot just smoke weed and play Xbox and do nothing all day without no regard to your future. It's not going to happen. So 2 things. I don't want you going back to this location, and I don't want you to have any weapons. Do you understand?
Sir.
I'll have you fill out an application. I'm going to bring you back in 2 weeks, and I want to see what you have done to get a job. If you've done nothing, it's not going to go well. Do you understand, Mr. Mack?
Sir.
You got to do something with your life, because if not, you're going to be hunchless, just on the side of the road, begging for money without a prospect. That's not a good way to go through life. Do you understand?
Sir.
All right, come on, Stephen, I'll give you an application. You'll sign a reset with Ramona, and then we'll have you take a seat in the jury box. Okay, sorry to keep you waiting. Good morning, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Bishop?
Shh.
So Mr. Peters is wanted out of Caddo Parish on issuing a worthless check. I'm assuming this correlates to like issuing a bad check here in Texas.
Okay.
And so I would be asking for a bond so he could go to Louisiana and take care of this business out there and resolve it.
So he's on felony probation for a false statement obtaining credit, picks up a DWI second, and now he's got this case.
Correct. I've told him what that DWI might do to his probation.
Mr. Fisher, now,
Don't say anything about the DWI because you're on felony probation for a very serious up to 10-year probation. You picked up a new case, and now you have another case in Louisiana. I mean, really.
I had no idea about the case in Louisiana, sir. I had just went to the Army base in Killeen. I was working for Bobtail Crane, and when they escorted us into the military base, nothing popped up about a charge or anything else like that. I had no clue about this. If I would have known about this, I could have easily took care of this whatsoever.
But the problem is that stuff keeps happening. When do we say when?
Sir, like I said in the case for the DWI, I was not drunk. I was on my way to work.
Really, now's not the time to fight those cases. My only point is that it's just stuff.
Here's where it gets chilling. 2 prior penitentiary trips means this guy is labeled habitual. In Texas, that's not just a label, it's a legal trapdoor. One wrong move and suddenly you're staring at 25 years to life. Imagine hearing that in open court.
Stuff keeps happening.
Yes, sir.
State's asking for no bond. In addition to the federal probation he's on right now, we're also seeing.
He's on federal probation too?
I'm sorry, I thought you said federal, but the 3-year probation that he was on right now from the 185th out of 2022. He also had a deferred revoke in 2010 from Montgomery County that resulted in 10 months of TDC. He also had another TDC trip for tampering with government record in 2008. He had an evading of a motor vehicle, which is a state jail felony that was reduced to a lesser evading from the 351st in 2007. He's also had a couple theft arrests that resulted in dismissals. He's also on a DWI second here in.
Pen trips you got? 2?
Sir,
How times you been to the pen?
it was just one time, sir. It was just
You're
one
saying
time.
how many times you've been to the penitentiary, Amy?
I'm seeing at least 2 here for TDC.
No,
One in 2008 and another in 2008 from Montgomery.
no. It was only one time.
Here's the thing. If you have 2 pen trips, you're what's labeled a true habitual. Anytime you pick up a serious felony, you're looking at 25 to life. So when you're out there in the free world, you have to be extra special good, because if not, you could be looking at a minimum of 25 years to life.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm just giving you facts.
Judge, if I could argue for my client a little bit, he does have criminal history. The issue here is he's got this DWI. He's made bond on that. He's got a bond there. He is on deferred as well in the 185th. I don't show a court date there. I don't see anything happening there as of yet. The only thing he's here in front of you right now is for issuing a worthless check out of Louisiana. This is something that could easily be taken care of, possibly by paying something even from here. If not, he is willing to go to Caddo Parish and avail himself to that parish and figure that out. It's not a serious case, Judge. He does have history. He was, from what he tells me, he was unaware that this popped up. I don't know when this actual case was issued, when it was presented, when it was filed.
Is this a new case? Is this an old case?
It was issued October 31st. The offense date was September 14th.
Of this year? October 31st of this year?
The warrant was issued
I'm
this
sorry,
year.
24?
Yes, the warrant was issued this year. The offense date was September of last year.
October 31st of this year.
They issued the warrant on October of 24, but the actual alleged offense date is
September of last year.
of 23. Okay.
So less than a month, Judge. He's been in Texas.
My problem and my concern are 2 things, though, Mr. Peters. Number 1, are you a danger to the community? Number 2 is you've got a lot of theft cases, and theft cases where other people are involved. So if I set you a bond, is it someone else's money that's going to pay for you to get out? You know, you've got a false statement to obtain credit. You've got a bunch of theft cases. Now you've got another theft case out of Louisiana. So is it someone else's money that's paying for you to get out? And then when we get you out, are you still a danger to the community? You know what I mean? Perception is reality, Mr. Peters, and your record speaks for itself.
Can I say something, Mr. Fisher?
Just don't talk about the
No,
cases.
I'm not talking about the cases. We all have a past. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Fisher? Some of us been called, some of us haven't been called. But at the end of the day, I have changed my life and turned myself around. Since all of those things that you have talked about, I have been driving trucks. I have been doing right by the community. I have custody of my 11-year-old son, that I am being an example of what a man should be. I have done everything that I'm supposed to do, Mr. Fisher. I'm not out here causing chaos and controversy about anything out here in society. I speak at the local church.
DWI 2 days ago, a second DWI. You're on the felony deferred, and now you've got a fugitive case.
Mr. Fisher, that was, again, I was not under the influence. I had just got off of work at Bobtail Crane. That's when that transpired. I told the officer that I did not have anything to do with the drink. He said, because your eyes are red. That does not solidify me as being drunk. I was tired. I just worked 16 hours.
Don't talk about
Yeah,
specifics.
don't talk about-
Okay.
How much is the value of the check?
It was like 511. It's under 1,000.
Judge, he hasn't made a mistake in your court. We're just asking.
But my concern, Ricardo, is where is he going to get the money to pony it up?
Well, Judge, I know you're speculating that it could be the public's money, but it could also be his money. I mean, he's been working for 5 years. He's got a CDL. He worked at Superstar Logistics for 5 years before working for Bobcat Crane. So he's been gainfully employed. It could easily be his money. I mean, there's nothing to say that it's the public's money or anything like that. He's got a history, but he's got no history with you. And so that being the case, I would ask that he be allowed to make this right. If he messes up at that point, I got nothing to say. But at this point, he hasn't messed up in your court.
Opposed to a bond? What if we set a high bond? You know, I mean, it's going to be a couple thousand. You know, it's going to be 5,000 to 10,000.
I can stop you, Judge, but our position is no bond.
You know, the problem is that you're an inherent flight risk. So if I set you a bond, you're going to have to pony up all that kind of money to get out. This is no 10% deal. You're a fugitive case, man. So when we set you a bond, you have to post it in its entirety. No 10%, no 20%. Just because of everything that you have open, you are an inherent flight risk. So you got to be aware of that. So if I do set you a bond, it's going to be at least, 5,000, 7,500.